It's a bit of an experiment here to see if we can do an AAR with a video. God only knows what we're going to do. So it's myself and Stephen who are going to be playing Stalingrad redux, which sounds a little bit like some form of indigestion medicine. Oh, I don't feel good! Try them on the Stalingrad redux. That's so much better. Well, after the rubble generation, we've got our blockages in UU5 and the AAA9 areas, but otherwise it looks pretty light and rubble wise. And it's wind change time. Nah. Oh, civilian interrogation.
Is it 3?
And barely start, and we already have legal rule.
I get the bump and run.
First things first, Steve manages to reveal my guys in CCC8 with his civilian interrogation, and then on he comes. You mean to go on? He bumps my unit, and then rolls boxcars. Yay! End of their turn 1, and Germans just pulled back basically. Apart from
Cowards.
Yep, run away, run away, run away. Apart from one magnificent 12 on a morale check in WW9, which was stupid because I didn't need to do it.
Yay!
Okay, went through the close combats, and then 9-1 advancing into AAA8. Died along with his squad, but the Y11 German squad halved, and the Panther got eaten by an 8-1 and 458. Good scenario, but we need to work on. We need to play it again, basically. It's so slow moving through the buildings around CCC12. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. Moving anything through that buildings up and down hills.
And this line of rubble split that building quite considerably. I overcommitted infantry to this area, having 2.5 squads there, which is too much. I didn't give the tank any defence, but that's mainly because I had a half squad in WW8, and instead of advancing him to WW9, I moved him, but he got shot to pieces. But time's really tight on the Russian side, because here we are, the Russians have 3 turns of movement left.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4. No, basically this turn 3.
Turn 3, so still got your turn to do in turn 3, and then I've got 3 turns of movement.
Yeah, just 4, 5, and on top of 6, and he's still got to clear out quite a lot of stuff.
And unfortunately, I put a lot of forces down the side of WW11, and ended up doing absolutely nothing because they were totally useless. Which meant that your overcommitted forces managed to hold up an awful lot of my forces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think our game will probably end up coming down to a fight for this building, because that's within three hexes of the victory building over here.
The Russians need to keep going forward, but it's not easy going forward. And if you don't get your flamethrowers to work, and you don't get some good dice at the right moment, it can hold you up something bad.
Yes, for me, spectacular results were 2 flamethrowers going on a
10 and
11.
Tank falling in the cellar.
Tank falling in the cellar, trying to overrun the gun. The gun's 2 shots bouncing off the adjacent OT-34. My inability to keep a support weapon operating for more than 1 fire. The Panther running out of fuel first time it tries to move. My stupid placement of the mines in YY9 and BB7, but that BB7's mines never came into it. Him getting information very first rally phase roll, which meant my squad was just sitting behind the roadblock in the open, couldn't stay there, and of course since I placed mines in BB7 they had to run away somewhere silly. It's a good scenario. We're going to play it again next week.
Oh yeah, definitely play it again.
No, you're right. Somebody in triple D12 controls all the way over here.
There's a lot to be said, because you come on here, you can set up. Can you not set up in triple C13?
Yep, you can. I decided it was too exposed to risk it because I couldn't see me being able to pull back, and I should have looked more closely at the terrain here. I hadn't realised that you could really only get there via the bridge.
So you can't get caught easily. That's actually a nice spot, because you take out those 3 hexes.
Yeah.
But you comes into there armoured, assaulted even. You expose yourself, put onto there. The chance of the tank doing something to you is slim, and you fire a whole pile of firepower into that.
Yeah, so what happens is he then just advances on, but then you can run away. You can always break and run away.
Break and run away. You're suddenly going 2, 4, 6.
Yeah.
Or better still, 2, 4, 6. Because the chances of being up into here, if you're there, is you set 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. So they can see that way. They can see that way.
Yeah, it still doesn't prevent him coming around here, but then
You can't
as long as
much,
you can never prevent everything.
because you have something there, but you can come on here, advance to there.
And with your reinforcements, you can get at least 2 squads.
Now here's a thought for you. You could come on to bypass here.
3 squads.
And bypass here, you can't bypass that because it goes to the edge, so you'd have to pay 2 to enter there. The question is, if you bypass here when you come on, can that hex see the corner of that hex?
I don't know.
That would be the question. If it can, you get caught there in the open.
Yeah.
But if you don't, in other words, you take the 2 there, but you're 2, 4. That rubble there is actually was quite important, because then it means you're able to run out the back way. It takes a bit of time, but I should have used that more often. I got too caught doing that. I was thinking afterwards, really, I should have ignored this and pushed up there, and then forced you to come to me.
Yeah.
But then if things went wrong and I was going forward, I suddenly get myself annihilated because you're behind me. I was hoping the fact that a couple of flamethrowers plus 6 pile of 628s, I would actually manage to punch 2.5 squads out of that building.
It would help if somebody had actually brought fuel for the flamethrowers. But don't really see the point of Buddha volunteer units in there. They appear to be there just because they're there.
They're good for pushing forward for bumping question marks.
They're not even very good at that because they.
But the thing is, if you look at it, right, I get Buddha volunteer there, right? Now I've got 2 hexes I can go into. I say there's a couple of rubble there.
Yeah.
I jump the Buddha volunteers in, right, and I've got a 628 sitting back here. Do you shoot the Buddha volunteer, or do you take the 628 when it comes in, leaving the Buddha volunteer, and then he can then jump into close combat because he's sacrificial, or he sits there and still gets firepower into you as well?
I mean, they're useful. It's just I'm not entirely certain why. Why they're a squad's a squad is a squad. It's always going to be good for something.
They're good for finding mines and bumping question marks.
Yeah, finding mines would be helpful.
And then given the access to choice, do you shoot the Buddha volunteer or the 628 coming behind them?
Where do you put the mines?
Me, in your setup. Do you know what I would have really put? I'd have been tempted to put mines, just to be an absolute bugger.
Where?
Until you'll see them. Put them on board.
That's true, yeah.
The thing is, you won't know they're on board till you see them. No, you've got to put them on because you know because the rules say that the Axis, the Russians had good aerial reconnaissance, so they've got to be on the board.
Yeah.
Okay, set the mines there.
So you can also you can trade them 3 for 1 anti-tank mine as well.
I don't think you can by the rules. I don't think.
No, I think it says unless you. I think you're allowed to unless it's.
But I would still stick them there because if a tank runs over them, if he armoured assaults,
it's going to cause the infantry problems. Yeah.
And then even then the tank has still got a chance on a.
Yeah, that's a key result.
Key result or something like that. I'll take the tank out, but it suddenly makes you think: if I armoured assault in there, I've got a problem.
Yeah.
So then, but the only way you could get around that is you take riders on to avoid the mines.
And riders get their collateral attack.
That. So I put the mines on there because then you're suddenly thinking, okay, I'll put a squad there. You come on there with mines.
Yeah, I reckon you'd probably end up where going after the gun with infantry, so that's why I put mines
Yeah.
to defend it. The problem there is with rubble in AAA9, your logical route was round this way.
Yeah. The other way I might have put it as well is if there's rubble in there, which there was, because
Yep.
you'll probably use the rubble to cross it,
Yeah.
mine the rubble.
I wasn't 100% sure you could put mines in rubble.
I think
You
I'd have
can,
to-
but I
you special rules. I think you can't get away with it. You can't mine the rubble, but I would certainly be tempted to mine that.
Yeah.
Because it's in your
That's
set.
not a bad idea. Anyway, I better stop because
Yeah.
I've got a long day tomorrow.